I love you like the mountains, love the way the morning opens, so soft and bright, green from the sun. It'll make you stay. I wouldn't act so angry all the time. I wouldn't keep it all inside. Well, that's the problem. Alright, enough of my horrible singing of Tyler Childers. We have found the problem. This valve is doing exactly what I thought it was doing. So, in this position, it should be, I don't want to tell you wrong, yes, it should be open, like it is here. Well, as you can see, can't see no daylight through. Closed. No daylight. So you can feel right away the way that this is moving, this ball valve. There's no tension on it. This thing is not moving the check ball inside of this at all, which sucks because, man, I went and looked up these things on Summit. Jeez, they're expensive. This thing's like $260 because it's the lightweight one. So I think I'm going to change some stuff around. The one that I have back here is in good shape. So instead of spending another $260 on this deal, I only have this one on here so that way I could drain the nitrous pressure between rounds so I could add water to the water injection. But I can accomplish the same thing by bleeding off the purge solenoid, bleeding off the pressure in it. So I think I'm just going to get rid of this line, get rid of a little bit of weight, a little bit of clutter, and move this solenoid, or I'm sorry, move this valve up here. But good news is that should pretty much fix the nitrous. So I figured before I just go and discard this thing, I'd take a few minutes here to take it apart and see if I can see exactly what went wrong here, because I'm the type of person that has to know exactly what happened in my mind. That helps me figure out how to prevent it from happening again. So I'm going to take a minute here to take it apart. Let me show you guys what I found here in case I can save anybody some future hassle. So, first thing, these are rebuildable. That's nice. So that little, I don't know what we want to call that, a tab, is what the lever rides on, that shaft. And then that tab there goes into the ball here of the ball valve. And as you can see, mine has kind of pushed out of there and left those pucker impressions into the valve here. And that is because, well, I believe it's from where I left the nitrous on to this thing for several months. You can see this is some buildup of some crap that is not thread tape or sealer or any of that. I really don't use any of that in AN style stuff. So, and that the majority of, well, pretty much all of that came out of this side, I believe it was, which is, or nope, it was this side, which is where the nitrous came to this valve first. So that's where the nitrous was sitting on it. So I believe that this crap is what caused this ball to stick. And as you see, it's kind of got a little bit of superficial wear on the ball. And then because it was stuck when I turned the valve, it was hard to turn, which isn't really that unusual because nitrous valves are hard to turn with the pressure on them. But it kind of stripped that aluminum little tab out. Basically, it just popped it out of the ball. And then once it was popped out of the ball, that ball wasn't doing anything. So that explains why we had next to no nitrous pressure, because we had no flow. And the only flow that was getting around that was just the very little bit that was able to sneak past this between the Teflon washer here, or bushing, I guess we should call that, and whatever position that this ball was in. So, you know, if it was something to where it was just barely cracked and it was letting enough nitrous through like that, that's basically what we had going on there. So, the question now is, do I try to repair this? Do I try to fix it? It's definitely fixable. I put the ball back in and put the handle back on and turned it. Everything seemed to be working. But I know what's going to happen. Since that is already puckered up, and this tab on the inside here is already kind of screwed up, it's going to work for a while. And then one day I'm going to be at the racetrack and I'm going to go to turn the nitrous on. And this is the last thing that we turn on before we make the run. I'm strapped in, ready to go. Who's ever with me, helping me. After I start the truck, before we pull it in the water, their job is to turn this valve on. And one day, somebody's going to turn this valve on and nothing's going to happen. And we're going to either have to abort the run or lose the race because of this. So, for that reason, I believe I'm going to maybe put this back together as a spare, throw it in the trailer, and not run it because I know that if I gamble with it, it'll burn me. So, I'm going to clean it back up, put it back together best I can, and carry on. So if I'm going to try to save this thing, I figured I'd give it every best chance at life possible. So I took the ball over and grinded down those little 2 pucker marks on it a little bit, and going to go over it with some Mother's metal polish. Try to get some of the super fine scratches out of it where it rides in those Teflon or plastic bushings, whatever they are, and figured that the metal polish will kind of give it a little bit of some lubrication as well, to keep it from trying to seize up in the future. And let's see if these efforts are any good or a waste of time. Well, you just watched me take that deal apart, and now it's open, but it doesn't close. When you close the valve here, see if I can do it with one hand. Close the valve, still open. So that was a waste of time. And this is now going to become a parts valve, I suppose. So I will get on to actually fixing something. When I originally made this little nitrous board in the glove box here, JP told me to make everything quick removable because I'll be in it more than I think I will. And I told him, nah, man, you know, once you get this stuff sealed up and whatnot, you'll be fine. You won't be in it that much. So I hope he's watching this and he laughs at me for not taking his advice. All right, so we've got everything back in order as far as I know. We're about to test it. But got rid of that quarter turn valve that was back there. That is now my new main valve. And then I got rid of that line, actually kind of cleaned it up a little bit under there and plugged off where that line used to go to. So we should be 100% back in business. So now I'm going to take and turn the nitrous bottle on and make sure that we are getting pretty much the same pressure at that gauge, my water injection, as what it is showing here. So for this test, we don't need to heat the bottle up or anything. Plus, I don't really want to waste a bunch of nitrous in case something is wrong. And then this quarter turn valve will turn on. And then that one is off right now. So we'll have nitrous pressure from here going to that one, but no pressure here just yet. So turn this valve on here. All right, so you could, I don't know if you could hear it in that video or not, but you could kind of hear the line go, and that's even with only 600 psi of pressure. You can see we have no pressure here, so that valve is holding. No leaks, nothing making any noise. Now, when I turn this valve on, we're going to watch this gauge. This gauge should pretty much shoot up as soon as I turn that valve on, if everything's working correctly. So, let's do that. Did you hear that? That's how you know it's money. Let's listen for leaks. Nice. So we're showing, I can't even see that. Yep, that's 600. 600 PSI at our water injection. And we've got 600, just over 600 PSI there. So we know that the nitrous is back on board, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so now we need to test and make sure that the purge is gonna purge out all of the pressure from here. So to do that, this would be like what I do after a run. Turn that quarter turn valve off. So now that blocks the nitrous from here to here. And the reason that I have a quarter turn valve here and a quarter turn valve there is because this is a lot of nitrous. So if I change the bottle and I didn't have this valve, I would waste all of the nitrous in this line that goes all the way over there. That's a lot of nitrous to waste. And then same for this. When I purge it out to change my water injection or to get the pressure off all the solenoids, I'd be wasting a whole bunch of nitrous. So quarter turn valves help with that. So we'll leave that one on because that doesn't matter. We've got that one off. Now I've got the power onto the truck. We'll come up here and hit this purge and make sure that all of the pressure goes off of the valve over here. Now, on those purge valves, purge solenoids, you don't want to leave them on for too long because that's hard on the solenoid. You can burn the solenoid up. But as you can see how that's frosting over, that's because of a rapid release of the nitrous. So everything is 100% back in working order. Now after the run, we can now service this. We could replace the water in this by taking the valve out because we have no pressure here. So we should be 100% ready to go, start testing some spool ups again.